Hello everybody. So in this video we would like to show you progress from our ongoing work and collaboration between myself, my company Bahar Software Engineering Consulting Corporation. I'm based in the UK, and my friends and colleagues from Testinium Corporation in Istanbul, Turkey. Mr. Alper Burak Keleş, Yunus Balaman, and Zeynep Özdemir Güler. We have been working since 2018. The project was first funded by TÜBITAK and ITEA, European ITEA fund, through Testomat project, the next level of Testomat automation. So we have been working on to increase the maturity and capabilities of test automation in the company by coming up with new and innovative practices and tools. So in our previous videos, we have showed several videos and demos of our ongoing work. We have been doing model-based testing and also BDD through the Gauge tool and a few other innovations. Again, these are some of the videos that you can see in this playlist. The last video we posted was in September last year. We showed a demo which was here. That's why this happens, because it has gonna visit us like 4 or 5 pages. So yeah, that was me talking there. It was a 19-minute video showing a demo of our coverage tool that you would run. And as the example system under test, we are testing our own system in Testinium Corporation, and I will explain that a little bit more. And we have the model-based test engine here, a tool called GraphWalker. So we have developed a standalone web application to actually provide both client-side coverage measurement, server-side coverage measurement, and requirements. So in the previous video, I showed to you the client-side coverage measurement that we have done. Since September last year, we have been very active and have also developed the server-side coverage and also requirement-side coverage. Anyways, the system under test is called Testinium, which is a large test management and test automation tool used by companies such as Pepsi, ING Bank, eBay, etc. So in this system, when you log in, essentially you can see you can have several different tests for different companies, and also you can see your projects, you can create new test projects, you can create test scenarios, test plans, and you can see your test reports. So essentially, again, as I mentioned, so now, and the tool itself that we have developed called MBTCover, and it's open source on GitHub. Again, I should mention that we have some explanation about the tool and the team that we have been developing this, and the demo videos that we have placed. So today what I'm going to show you, so what I have done here, I've got the tool GraphWalker also open here. And so GraphWalker again is an open source tool which is very nice and very reliable model-based testing tool. So I've got GraphWalker Studio here open. This is kind of part of our MBT model-based test suite. We have got 18 different models that are connected through the so-called shared nodes. And I'm going to demo to you certain features of this. So the video that I have is here, is a recorded video, but I'm going to explain through it. So here we have essentially, okay. So as you can see, this is our coverage tool, MBTCover. It has, of course, got its front end, back end, and processes some JSON files. So when we're gonna run the coverage tool, so it's gonna bring up, so it connects to the server, and I'm gonna explain that how it works. So building it takes some time. It's starting up here. Okay, what we have got here, it's again on the local host that connects. So we have the MBTCover. It's going to show us different types of metrics. And now we're going to run the test suite. Later, I have a diagram that shows how shows the architecture of the system. Okay. So we also resize the windows so we can see everything in a nice location and position. Of course, we need to establish some connections. So we have got the system under test, the test tool, and then our coverage tool. So three tools are working in a nice synchronization and harmony. Can stop and start the line chart that you want to see the coverage. We're gonna see client coverage, server coverage, and requirements coverage, different colors in terms of line charts. Now it's testing the invalid. So now that the test suite is running, as you can see, this is the login model, test model, which is the state chart. And essentially, you go from start to verifying login page. You can click on forgot password page and also invalid password, etc. So the system is testing it. Now the coverage values will start to appear after a while. Make it a small zoom so that we can see the entire screen. Okay, so the coverage values are here. See the charts here. And also we provide lots of metrics. Number of test models reached so far. So the system counts the number of test models we have. There are about 18 of them. By the way, the model, the test suite also has been provided. We also provide that in GitHub as open source. That interested, essentially, the folks who are interested in this, they can download and try them for themselves as well. And number of nodes covered so far. So out of 171, 7 of them covered. So these are nodes in all those 18 test models. Number of edges covered so far. So we give the percentage and also the total counts. Number of requirement items covered so far. So I'm going to explain all these things as well. So before I do that, I'm going to show you an architecture diagram from one of our papers, which is now in minor revision. Hopefully it will be accepted soon and you can read the entire paper. And so it's this paper that we're gonna, so it's quite a long paper, 28 pages, model-based testing in practice, and that will be hopefully published soon. So in terms of the architecture of our approach, so the test engineer designs test models. He or she can run them using the model-based testing tool called GraphWalker. We need to develop some Java Selenium code to connect the model to the elements of the system under test. Selenium code will run the front end of the web application under test, which runs on the client side on Chrome on browser. That connects through internet to the server and server side. We have the coverage tool. Again, we measure requirements, model coverage, and client side and server side code coverage. We measure 4 things. In terms of technology, to gather requirements coverage, we use the Chrome's development tools, DevTools protocol. And for server-side coverage, because our servers are Java in our case so far, we use the JCoco Java coverage library. And the tool that we have written, it connects to do some of the things and it aggregates them and shows them in a user-friendly manner, which is bar charts, line charts. So that's kind of the whole picture of how the system is running. Let's continue that. As you can see, so far the server-side coverage is between about 10%, and essentially the client-side coverage is higher. It's about 70%, and requirement coverage also is about 20%. So we're going to continue. You're going to see the metrics are changing, and the system is testing. The test suite is testing different parts of the SUT. Some changes occurred here. Let's see the chart. So the requirement coverage went up a little bit. You can see that out of 36 requirements lines, 7 have been covered, and I'm going to also show you where those metrics come from. These are actually requirement items in terms of use cases for our system, and I'm going to also show here. This is, for example, our login test model. So what you can see here, again, it's login test model. You can go and see the other ones. For each node and edge that correspond. Of course, we have written the requirements in the popular approach of tabular use case descriptions like this. So you have got here requirement use case number 1, login, sign in, there's happy path and also unhappy paths, and then we number them, what the user does and what the system should do, right? So user accesses the login page, the system should show the login page. User enters valid login info and passwords, the system should log in and show the dashboard page, which comes after login page. So we have got, let's see how many. We have got about 14 use cases: change company, logout, update suite, account information, view projects. And each of them have number, and also we have numbered them. So we have this many steps here, and also 66 requirement items. Well, it happens that we haven't tested the entire system, but we have tested the most important parts of it. That's why we have put here specified inside the MBT model. We have got 36 items which have been specified, and then we have put them here. For example, this one there, that user accesses the login page, that's R1 happy path step 1, and we have put it here inside the test model. So the Graph Walker tool has a very nice feature and allows you to enter the requirement specification, and then you can query them using the API of Graph Walker at runtime. Alright, so once you have done it, essentially what happens is that in the video you have got 36, and then you can count how many of those have been reached so far. So that gives you a very nice way of measuring coverage. So this happened, so it could be that in this time that we were testing, one extra requirement has been covered. As you can see, the test model here is running to the the edges become bold and nodes become bold. That means that those things are being visited. Okay, now client-side coverage has come down. Actually, I had some colleagues who asked why this comes down. Well, it's a bit a tricky situation. The reason is that because you usually want, if you look at the cumulative or latest coverage, you want that to stay constant or go up at least. The reason that it comes down is that because the system has visited a different page, it just happened a few seconds ago, and that page perhaps includes other JavaScript files through the JavaScript, right? So if you go to the JS, what you see in JavaScript is that, right, if you right click, you have different JavaScript files. So for example, in this page, which is the report page of Testinium, it's including at least 3 JS files like external model list language tools, ACE, and perhaps a few other things. There's another one here. So all these things, and there's some other ones here. So all these things add. So the line of code of those JS are dynamically calculated by our tool, and the number of JS lines that have been covered, that could really fluctuate up and down, not just up, but it could go down, because if the denominator, right, number of JS lines covered divided by total number of JS lines in the system, that if the denominator goes up, then the value will go down. So again, you can see time. You can change this chart to be refreshed every 2 or 3 seconds, and you can see these numbers are getting updated. It also shows time elapsed in MBT. The requirement coverage slightly is going up. Well, yeah, requirement coverage will never come down, and several coverages too, because it looks at the entire code. But for client coverage, we look at how much JavaScript has been included so far. So if we fast forward this a little bit, again, that thing, client coverage is about 50%, something like that. Yeah, we're gonna perhaps also, these charts are showing the coverage, so there's no point to showing them down. And there, let's see if the clients, I'm just curious, just slightly went up. And the reason is that, so requirement coverage goes up in a healthy way, and client coverage stays about 50%. Well, some of the reasons, we investigated that already, why this doesn't go to higher levels such as 80 or 90%. The reason is that many of those JS files that have been included, they're like utility libraries, right? Utility functions. So you don't really are calling all of them. And some of them are standards like JS Node or Node.js library that you just use some of the features that you want, and you don't want to remove the rest because they are kind of established libraries. Okay, now continues. Now, yeah, that's the situation in terms of requirements, server side. We've got another shorter video. And here, once the test suite finishes, you can see all the coverage values, and as you can see, you can hover the mouse and you can see how much essentially has been covered in terms of each time. So it's a nice way to go back and see the situation. This because we have been evaluating all these tools with our large team of test engineers and testing, about 150 test engineers working on testing so far, and they are finding that these features extremely useful. So another good thing is that you can see the coverage report as we just saw there. So this is the server-side coverage, and you can see which, essentially, these are the engines of the testing, right? The core model, the core exceptions, everything. You can see how much of that is. We hope you have enjoyed this presentation of ours, which is the latest demo from our tool sets to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of test automation in practice. All the best.